Welcome back to another episode of Gregtech Community Edition Modern. Last time we got ourselves the next upgraded coil of the HSG coils for our blast furnace over here. I have not made more yet for the one over there, as I don't know how much more I really need for those. I know it'll help with speed, but I was working on stuff for this episode instead before I do more of that. Let's make sure our jetpack's back on. But the next process we need to get into is making our upgrade for the electric blast furnace, or all of our machines in general. To do this, however, we do require indium. And so we need to get to the part of making indium, which is... where did it go? Here. There is two ways to do it. Either we get indium phosphate, which this is part of the NADAC chain. Nequadria chain. I'd always called it NADAC for some reason. I don't remember why. Maybe I heard a YouTuber say that at some point, but so that was one way to get it. Or the other way, and the way that it shows to get it, is to use indium concentrate and some aluminum dust. Now, the interesting thing about this, and I forgot to grab one of these, so I'm going to have to do this. To get aluminum dust, you actually are going to have to pump it out. It does not fully electrolyze out of this solution. You end up losing a lot of the aluminum as you go through. So, to get this going, though, we need to start off with... is it this backpack? No, this one. This one. We need to start off with a mixer. And go ahead and power that up right here. And then we will need a few pipes, which I seem to have forgotten. And I think what we're going to do... I was originally going to use multiple of these arms, but I think I can use just one if I get interfaces and storage buses. So we need ourselves an interface. I don't know why I'm doing it there, considering I have them right here. I have one there. I do need to go into here to make up two more storage buses, and then we're going to have to link them up to power somehow. So that's going to be the trickier part. I think I could probably just pop down an energy acceptor over here and do it that way, instead of having to pipe something all the way over here, as I think the closest pipe is pretty far. So let's grab that, and an energy acceptor. Just do one of those, should be fine. Oh, it's a Fluix plates that's the problem there. Let's go figure out setting those up to autocraft, just so we can do that when we need to, or just make some really quick. So Fluix plates are just Fluix dust in the compressor. We have a compressor. That is a solidifier. I do not have a compressor. Let's just grab it out, craft up 4 of them. Fluix dust, we got 2. We need 2 more. And go put that in the compressor that I have somewhere. It's an extractor. Actually, I have no idea where some of these machines are sometimes. Can I do it in this one? Yes. I'll just pop it right in there. So, with this chain, the first thing we need to do is we need to make that concentrate I was talking about. So, indium, we need purified sulfurite ore and purified galena ore, and some sulfuric acid to make the indium concentrate. So that is our first step. As soon as we get this, we can go ahead and go back over to pipe it up, and then we'll have plenty of extra sulfuric acid that we can draw from our platinum group usage to actually fuel this, which is kind of nice. So now we should be able to just queue everything else up and let that get going while we set this up. So we want this in there, and I think I have a filter. Do I already have it set? I do not. So we're going to need right there, recipe, and recipe for that one. And we'll put both of those right in there. We'll make sure we put that in there, and we say supply our keep exact. And we'll do 1. Hopefully that will only import the one like I want it to of each. We can put our buses there. And then I think I might be able to actually break this. Put that wire and power it right there. Actually, I don't even need that. It's right, it'll power through right there. So now we just need to get that energy acceptor built. We can place it right there. Place online. And now, let's grab ourselves a few cables and the interface. We switch to this. And go 1 and 2. Does that pull in our items? It does not. So we want 1 and 1 of those. And we will say that there and that there. And there we go. So we got the 1 supplied of each. Now we just need to drag over our sulfuric acid. It's going to exit that side so that we can actually pump the sulfuric acid directly in. However, I do need to go get the polytetrafluorine pipes, as I do not have any of those on me to go ahead and pipe it over. Tetrafluoroethylene. Oh. I always forget that it doesn't actually join, even though it makes the sound to do so. Now we can pipe this on over here. And straight across. And we'll feed it in the back. And join them together. Just need a wrench. Okay. And now, just to prevent sloshing, we'll go ahead and make sure it does that. And now we will start making some of our indium concentrate. It is acidic, so that is one thing to note. However, we can dump this straight into the next machine that we need, which is the advanced chemical reactor. Now, this is the part where I need to go get some aluminum and bring that across. And then we will have to set this up afterwards. I want to just get a little bit... Oh, I can actually pipe it over from here. That's right. Have it hooked up so I can just go aluminum dust. We have a lot of it. So, let us set this up to have the aluminum go in. And then we need, I believe it's a number 4. That is correct. So now we are getting our indium dust, our aluminum sulfide dust, as well as our lead zinc solution. So now we've got our indium. That was the main request that I had for this. And we're going to have to pipe this back over to some sort of chest or some sort of place to put this, to have access to it in storage. So let's grab ourselves another crate. Or we could actually just use a, what is it called? A drawer? Been using so many barrels, I kind of forgot. Let's go ahead and craft up one of those. There is that. We're going to actually probably have it all go back in a crate, so we still will craft up a crate. Just thinking about that. And that just basically need to make sure that we have a drawer set up to funnel this stuff back through. And then here's one of the craziest things that I think is awesome. So I can actually go ahead and say, let's get a single item link, because we already have a return chest that we can use to return items through. So now that that's done, we do need a few more of these item filters. We'll grab those out. And then the lead zinc solution can be used to get ourselves lead, silver, and zinc, as well as some sulfur. We're going to have to void the water out of this, as we don't need that. We actually threw everything by now? Still not through everything. And that's because I know why now. Okay, so we're good. So the lead zinc solution has to go through our centrifuge. We'll put the centrifuge here at the bottom. It's in not that backpack, it's this backpack. So we'll grab out the electrolyzer and the centrifuge. So our centrifuge can go here at the bottom. And then we will take our pipe it on out right there. And say, go ahead, pump it out that way. So now we'll get our centrifuge. So we've got our item link. We do need an item, or not item voiding cover, the fluid voiding cover. Fluid. Get rid of that water. Okay, so in the meantime, while that is running, we can now set up our electrolyzer. This is where it comes important that we have ourselves the item filters. As one item filter, which is going to be this one here, is going to have this. And both of them are going to have that. I always just like to do this, where it blacklists one item and whitelists the other. So we'll have that one there. And then we'll put this crate on top here, just to kind of keep everything a little bit concise, and have that there. Then we can have our items flow out the top. And go ahead and grab, I don't think I have any tin pipes accessible. Not enough. Let's go ahead and go grab this. Let me go ahead and check while we're over here. So this one is our platinum return. So we can go ahead and have this be an import for our platinum return. And that'll come back in this crate, and we won't have to worry about adding a second crate. We did need to add, or we need to add item pipes, that's right. We need to come over here. I should just hook this chest up to a system, considering I put all my item pipes in here anyways. Or all of my pipes in here, but now right there. Okay, so now we can have it come out and across and up, and then this one can do the same thing to go up here. Now we're just going to have to make sure that this one outputs on this side, and we will add our item link. Grab out the indium first, and then we'll put that in this. Got ourselves the indium. That in there. We can take it over, lock it beforehand, just so I don't forget to lock it over there. Okay. Done. Now, to let this continue going, we're going to go ahead And just realized I need 2 more item links. Item links. Ooh, how are we going to do this? I want the item link over. I guess I can have it item link into a crate. Or a pipe. I can item link it into a pipe and then have it to where it can only input 16 of them. So that we don't... Actually, what am I talking about? It doesn't matter. This thing can fill up top. We don't use a secondary item input. So I can just have a thing back there. That's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and just wire this all up to work. And then make sure this goes out on the right. That. Now we should see all of the items leaving into the chest. We can return this all with the platinum group return now. So let's place that down. Set this to our platinum group return and import. And it will now import all of those items back over to the other side. So now while we have that, let's go ahead and see about... Needed 2 more of the ender links. Okay, good on items. Let's get covers. We got our fluid voiding cover here. Let's go ahead and grab that. Slap it on this one. I like to always do it in the back just so that you know that that's the cover that I do that with. And then we need ourselves a fluid. Filter. Grab ourselves one of those. We just need to add water. So let's grab that, our bar, water, and hell. So we got to be careful with our covers. Okay, and open that one up, put the water cover in, and void it. Ooh, we're gonna have oxygen in here too. Don't think we really need that all that much, so I'll probably just end up voiding that too. Void. Fluid voiding cover. Now, since the other thing is taking a second, let's go double check what's going on with this. Oh, by the way, I did figure out how this thing works. So I got my little... So that you can actually hear me. Let's go ahead and go take a nap. But I got the cover to work properly. So now I can actually have the turbine running. So, I've got the redstone RS latch, advanced energy detector thing. I set it to 20% and 80%, and then I inverted the output. And so now, if it's above 80%, it'll shut off, and then it will turn back on at below 20%. And so, then the other thing I have is there's a machine controller cover. That's what you got to do, and then you put it onto... you put it onto the actual multi-block, or it's got to be near the multi-block in general to do anything with that. And now I can actually go in and look at this when it's shut off and powered down. But it's been working swimmingly. I'm pretty ecstatic that it works, and now I know how it works, because I was like, I have no idea how this works before, and now I do. So, pretty cool. Looks like the cover is finally finished. It was taking some time there. Let's go get this put downstairs. Along our wall of goodies. I think I'd like to clear out a little bit more so I can see my wall of goodies better. Oh, I'm gonna fall down the one hole that I still have so I can get to the basement quicker. Honestly, because I have a jetpack, holes in the floor is kind of nice for me, but makes the place look like a dump a little bit. Anyways, we now have our indium dust set up, and this links it back into the system, which is really nice. So now I wanted to see, I should have another arm. If I could reach over and hit the right key. We got another arm. We can go ahead and plop on the back of that machine that we were looking at putting it into earlier. Right over here. Okay. We got a robotic arm. Which, again, we don't need. I don't know why I thought we needed it. In fact, I forgot to set up what I need to set up over there, but we can fix that. And so I can just do the straight up item link. We're going to change this to channel 01010101 and say aluminum. Oh, let's change the channel name first. Aluminum. And check. And then I will go grab out, even if it's just like a storage bus onto a crate or something, some aluminum. Can I? This is what I wanted to check really quick. Can I? I can't. Okay. That'd be kind of interesting if you could put that onto a cover. So let's look at... You know what? I would rather just use cables. We got plenty of them. The Ender item links are cool and all, but so was ME systems. So cable. I'd have to just create like 40 more and let you process while I figure out where I'm gonna have to pipe this over from. Peel that off. Drop the cable down here. Go 1, 1, up, down, 4. And which direction? That direction. Alright, and... slow comings, but we'll be able to connect it fairly shortly. 2, 3. Barely connected. Okay. And now we just need ourselves an export. Which I think I still have one in my backpack. So we want to export, and we want to export aluminum. Now we should see that slowly start to import. And as it fills up, it will then automatically process our indium. Sweet. Now it'll take some time to get through more than what we've got. But that is the exact process we want to, and then the best part is the aluminum will go back into the system to get pumped back out this way again without having to worry about feeding it back into the system, considering it only produces 2 of the aluminum left over after doing this. So I find it funny how it like jumps up in speed after reaching a certain threshold, but I guess it's something about like a buffer on them or something. But now we can actually let that do its thing. This will do it in 3 seconds. That'll do it in 10. But this does 4, so it actually will be faster than the mixer. But that's fine, because we just need it to keep going. We just need it to do its job and work through the indium. So the next part that we need to do now that we have the indium is we need to make ourselves some of these high-power integrated circuits. And to make these high-power integrated circuits, we needed, quite specifically, the indium gallium phosphate. So we need to mix indium, gallium, and phosphide dust in with some liquid vanadium gallium. I believe I actually have some of that somewhere. Don't remember if I put it into a vial or if I left it in a machine. But I should have it. Oh, it's in... It should be in the storage cell, actually. Which it is not. What did I do with it? Oh, I made an auto-crafting thing. That's what I did. Cool. So, we need ourselves... make one transfer over, and then when we cut it, we get 2, which will be enough for a singular 1. So we need to get ourselves 2 ingots worth of it. 0.288. You know what? We're not doing that. We're going to go ahead and say, make this a recipe. So I just need to do that. And then we need the recipe for this stuff, which needs to be done in any mixer with phosphorus, gallium, and indium in the number 1 method. So number 1 is there. Put that in. Put our lovely disc thing in our chemical reactor. Hello? This is where... I don't think that one's gonna cut it. Thought I crafted one. Chemical reactor. What did I need for that? Oh, I have everything pretty much crafted. Means I probably did something with auto crafting it. A little bit silly of me to do that, but means we don't have too long to wait. We just add in those. We have our... Oh, you know what? I did have one. It's that one over there. No, it's not. Never mind. Ignore what I said. Okay, so now we can pop that down right here. And we can take this one. This is what I would like to do, as I'd rather have the faster crafting than using this one in particular. And we can actually swap that out for another laser engraver shortly. Now we just need to pop in all of our recipes here, 1, 2, and 3. And we can call the HPIC wafer recipe. Let's make 2 of them. And there we go. There is starting. Going to start by engraving, because we have that set up. So that's going to be 23 seconds. And then it will shuffle each one of those that it does. Each one of those that it does will be shuffled on over to this other block over here. So there's our first one. Now we should see... Hello? There we go. There it is. It's coming on through. Did that recipe need 2 of them? I just didn't realize it. Oh, no, that's not good. Okay, that one's still going battery-wise, so we can wait on that. But we need to put this on over here for now. Let it continue doing its job. Forgot, we don't have a battery buffer on each one of these, and so this is going to eat all 4. I should do a battery buffer on this side so I can actually do this. But another few seconds, and we will have our first high-powered wafers. Those are used to make that, as well as we can make ludicrous transformers. In the future, I guess. We'll need them for IV to LUVs, as well as the main attraction, our energy hatch, and our dynamos for the IV tier. And so now we just got to have the outputs of these go up. And then allow item inputs. That will craft them up. And now I can take that one out, and we can cut it up just to have it start cutting that. Just need ourselves... I think it has to be cut up in there. Yes, it does. So we just need to grab ourselves some lubricant over, and we'll wait for this thing to finish that up before we siphon off the power from that one. Where did it go? Wrong backpack, that's where it went. Okay. So now if I take out 1 cell's worth, how much does it use? So it uses 1/4 of a bucket, just like all the other recipes, and then 45 seconds to get our HPIC chips, which I'm sure that stands for high-power integrated circuit or something like that, maybe. We have got quite a bit to go. Is the last thing that we're going to have to do. I don't have to do this another time as I'm running out of time. We got to get ourselves iridium and osmium processed out. And now that we have the indium, this actually does make this... Does it really make it that much easier? Not really, I guess. But we do know that this gets us closer because we can now get closer to making our... It says that we need... There's why. We need iridium wire, so that's why. So we will have to do that before we can even make those coils, because we need the iridium wire to make the high-powered coils. Understandable, and pretty exciting, as we are getting much, much closer. I have an export button. What are you exporting? Oh, that's what you're exporting. I don't want to be bothered with that right now. But that should cut up all of our high-powered chips. Now that puts us one step closer to upgrading our blast furnace, as well as all of our multi-blocks yet again. Even though the other multi-blocks do not give us the perfect overclock, I think is what the term that they use. The perfect overclock being that we get in blast furnaces that instead of increasing the speed by 2x, it increases it by 4x. Which is why I usually always try to overclock them to the next tier and use 2 of the inputs, because it's just that much faster for everything to get done, which helps me, even though it uses more power, it helps me actually push these videos out a little bit faster. But I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment, and you guys all enjoy the rest of your day. Bye!